The women's 4 by 200-meter freestyle relay. Canada in 5, the U.S. in 4, Brazil in 3.
Very interesting. The United States swimmer that was leading off, Kira Jansen from White Bear Lake in Minnesota, had a very peculiar old-style start. She dove in and popped up right away, and that's a bit slower, and that's why she's behind the Canadian right off to a very quick lap, Emily Overholt in lane number 5. That's 3 from the top.
Manuela Lirio is leading off for Brazil, and Emily Overholt is leading off for the Canadians, who have the early lead. But as I said, each swimmer has to do 200 meters of freestyle in this event, the women's 4 by 2.
So 4 lengths of the pool. This is a tremendous mental test for Emily Overholt. She had the gold medal about an hour ago in the 400-meter individual medley, and it was taken away in the disqualification. Yes, it is being appealed, but at this point, she's tired from that race, but she's got to be mentally fatigued as well. So this is a test.
Overholt leading the Canadians, followed by Brazil and the United States. Overholt heading back up the pool. She has less than 100 meters remaining in her leg.
And the strategy on this is very simple. The Brazilian down in lane number 3, she's got to get her team into the hunt, preferably even in first place. She was the bronze medalist in the individual event. If they have any hope of getting the silver or bronze. The United States is very simple. Stay close to Canada because we've got our big gun going next. The plan for Canada is Overholt's got to get a body length or more lead. Otherwise, Canada could be in a little bit of trouble.
Canada, Brazil, and the United States off the wall and heading back up the pool. They will touch, and coming in for the Brazilians will be Jessica Caballero. Coming in for the United States, their big gun, Allison Smith. And coming in for the Canadians, Catherine Savard, who has just finished the 100-meter butterfly. It is the Canadians who are coming in first. Catherine Savard, Brazil second, the United States third.
And this is interesting in the sense that Canada needed probably a bigger lead. Now, the United States is going to surge out to a big lead here, but their next 2 swimmers aren't quite as fast as Allison Schmidt is, obviously. So Canada could possibly reel them in. Brazil could possibly reel them in. So it'll be interesting to see, but it needs to be within about a body length. If you're a couple body lengths behind in this race, you're going to be in real trouble.
Right now, not much between Brazil, the United States, and Canada as they head back up the pool.
The second swimmer, Jessica Caballero for Brazil, is 23 years of age. She went 2 minutes out of Sao Paulo, and she was on the Pan Am team 4 years ago that won a silver medal. So she's been here before. She knows. We mentioned Schmidt. She's a powerful swimmer. And the bad news for these other 2 swimmers is that Schmidt's usually way better in the next 2 lengths than she is the first 2 lengths. So I think she's going to extend that lead.
Smith with about a body length lead now on the Canadian and the Brazilian as they have less than 100 meters to go in their leg.
The problem that Catherine Savard has, she just swam the 100 butterfly, and she had the medal ceremony. She was on her legs all that time, and the legs are what you use in a sprint event like the 100 butterfly, and she needs them on the last length here to get back into the race. I just don't know if she's going to have them.
Smith will touch the wall and have less than 50 meters to go in her leg of the 4 by 2. Caballero touching and Savard touching. Coming into the water for the Brazilians will be Joanna Maranhão, Courtney Harnish for the United States, and Allison Ackman for the Canadians. And Smith is doing her job. She is going to give the Americans about a 3-length body lead when she touches the wall and brings in Courtney Harnish. Smith touching, Harnish in. The Brazilian is in. Joanna Maranhão and Allison Ackman for Canada.
So that's a long, long way to go to catch up to get into the race in the 4 by 200 relay. Allison Ackman, the youngster for Canada, back in 3rd spot. There's a good shot. Courtney Harnish out of York, Pennsylvania. The York YMCA. She won 3 medals at the Junior Pan Pacific Championship. Now here she is on the senior team trying to get her first international medal. And certainly Allison Schmidt put her well on the way to possibly get that. But her job, Courtney Harnish's job, is to keep that lead. Keep them up there because their anchor leg isn't quite as good as the Canadian anchor leg.
I'm sure the Canadians were hoping that they'd be closer to the Americans when Brittany McLean came in.
Absolutely, that obviously was the hope, but Savard was obviously tired from the 100-meter butterfly. Allison Ackman giving her best for the Canadians, back in 3rd spot. She really loves swimming. She actually left home, her small town of Pembroke, Ontario, moved to Montreal, lived on her own when she was 15 to try to improve her career.
Courtney Harnish now has less than 100 meters to go in her leg of the 4x2. Maranhão has the Brazilians in third place, but challenging is Ackman. She has closed the gap between Canada and Brazil.
Yeah, this looks like the United States has this one in a bit of a lock. Canada trying to catch Brazil. Maranhão, the Brazilian, is very, very experienced. You see her down at the bottom. This is her 5th games. First games ever was in Winnipeg when she was only 12 years old. She's got 6 medals to her credit. This will be medal number 7 for Maranhão.
Less than 15 meters to go for Courtney Harnish, and the U.S. with the lead at this point of the women's 4x200. Brazil in second, Canada in third place. Swimming the anchor leg for the United States will be Jillian Ryan. The anchor for Canada, Brittany McLean, and Larissa Martins will swim for the Brazilians. In the water now, Jillian Ryan of the U.S. Larissa Martins for Brazil, Brittany McLean in for Canada.
And Brittany McLean has got a big heart, and she's a great swimmer, but that's a little bit too much to ask to be able to catch the Brazilians at this point. I think this is going to finish with gold, silver, and bronze for the United States, Brazil, and Canada in that order. It's very interesting because this could be a major upset if Martins can really rise to the challenge. Jillian Ryan is a good swimmer for the United States, 19 years of age. She won gold 4 years ago in the 400-meter freestyle, so she certainly shouldn't die in this race. She should have easy ability to go 200 free speed. She's from the University of Michigan, and I ran into a coach in the lobby, thinks that she's ready to go. But I'll tell you, who's ready to go is Larissa Martins from Brazil.
Martins is going to make a race out of this. She is closing the gap on Jillian Ryan of the United States. They will touch and have less than 100 meters to go in this final of the women's 4x2. It is the U.S. just in front of Brazil, and Martins is coming.
Martins had a tremendous turn there, picked up another half a body, or a few feet anyway, on the swimmer Jillian Ryan. The question is, Jillian Ryan is better at the 8-lap race. Is 4 laps enough? So the point is, can she really, or a few feet anyway, on the swimmer Jillian Ryan? The question is, Jillian Ryan is better at the 8-lap race. Is 4 laps enough? So the point is, can she really accelerate on the last lap? Sometimes in a 4x2, Steve, you get so excited, and the Brazilian Martins might have basically gone a little bit too hard to try to get back in the race and might not have a lap lap.
Jillian Martins turns over, and the U.S. with the lead on Brazil. Less than 50 meters to go now in the women's 4x200. Larissa Martin catch Jillian Ryan.
Ryan's picking up her cadence now. Looks like she's lifted herself in the water a bit. She's going to be able to hold off the Brazilian Martins, and Martins is actually starting to die now. She gave it her all, but didn't quite have 200 meters in her.
Jillian Ryan touches gold for the United States, a Pan Am record, silver for Brazil, and bronze for Canada with that anchor leg from Brittany McLean. The Americans now with 7 gold, 8 medals in the women's 4x200 freestyle relay.
Brittany McLean of sub-2-minute, 1:59 flat split. So a good job for her in the end of Canada's, but wasn't obviously enough. She was too far behind. Jillian Ryan was able to hold off the Brazilian, who gave it a whale of a shot. But I don't think Jillian Ryan was really too worried. There's the woman that won it for them, Allison Schmidt, the Olympic gold medalist, second fastest time ever in the world. Here we go, and this is Allison Schmidt entering the water right there. She was in third spot when she took off, but by the time she was done, look at that. 2 body length lead, 5-second lead over Canada. It was all over but the crying at that particular point in the 4x200 relay in terms of Canada's hope to win a gold medal. But the Brazilians struggled their way back into the race. This is the final exchange, very safe exchange. On the left, Brazil. On the right, Brittany McLean going in for Canada. There she goes. And Jillian Ryan looked like she was going to get caught at this particular point. Into the wall, the Brazilian starting to close, picked up a half a body length, came off the turn underwater, looking longer. Jillian Ryan popping to the surface really too soon, but it wasn't quite enough. Jillian Ryan was able to hold off and pick up her cadence coming into the final wall. This is the final turn, and then, yeah, maybe this is the final finish. I'm looking, yes it is. There it is, right there, into the wall, the final finish. Jillian Ryan distancing herself by about 3 or 4 meters over the Brazilians. Excellent race for the Brazilians. Strong world-class performance and time for the Brazilian silver medal. Canada just couldn't quite get it into full gear earlier in the race, and they have to settle for the bronze.
4 years ago, the U.S. set a Pan Am record in taking gold in Guadalajara with a time of 8:01.18. 4 years later, 7:54.32 for the Americans, a new Pan Am record.